of what we'll be discussing today. We'll start off with what a brand is, defining it, and then
We,
also, oh, yes.
sorry. We're gonna have Leslie start the recording now.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's all right. All right, Leslie, we can start it here at topics. Thank you.
Hmm?
You do great.
You got it.
I'm sorry about that. We're going to go briefly over the agenda. So, today we'll be discussing what is a brand and going into the elements of a brand. We'll be discussing why branding is important for your small business. And then we'll be taking the first step of creating your brand by diving into what a logo is. And then lastly, I'll be introducing you to some resources that will help you get started on your logo. So, what is a brand? A brand can be described in several different ways. It's your promise to your customers, your business identity, and it conveys the story of your business. If you ask someone, answers will definitely vary, but they all tend to run along these same lines. So, to put it simply, I would define a brand as the face you put forward to your customers, your community, and even your competition. So then, the elements of a brand, now that we've defined what a brand is, I want to briefly introduce you to these elements. The first will be a brand name. So, what will your business be called? Your second is your logo. What imagery will represent your brand? Your tagline, is there a specific phrase you want attached to your business? Your brand colors, what colors will you use for your marketing materials and across your platform? Then we have typography. So what kind of font and arrangement of text will you use to make sure that your brand style is conveyed while also being readable, visually appealing, and clear? Then we have voice and tone. So how will you communicate with your target audience, not only through actual communication, but also through marketing materials? Next, we have brand values. So, what beliefs and values are important to your business, your target audience? Who are you trying to reach? Your brand story. What is the story behind your business? Where did it start? And where do you plan on going? And then, customer experience. What experience do you want your customers to have? How do you want your services and your products to make them feel? And then we have positioning. So, how do you want your business to stand out and what makes it different amongst other businesses in your market? Lastly, we have visual identity. So, the overall, um, sorry, how will you visually market yourself? And then what elements will remain consistent across your platforms and marketing materials? Then packaging. If you do provide a physical product, how will you present it to your customers? Then social media presence. This is something that is super important now in the social media age that we're in. Social media is an important tool to help you build your audience for your small business. So then you also have to consider how will you engage your audience consistently across your platforms, and then what kind of tone will you take with them as well. And then lastly, we have brand guidelines. So what are some rules you will have in order to maintain consistent branding for your business across all platforms and and networking materials? So now that we've discussed branding and we've kind of defined it a little bit, I want to give you a few reasons why it is important to start why it's important for your small business. So first, we have differentiation. So having a good brand makes your business stand out against others in your market. And then we have customer recognition. Along with this, sorry about my dog. Give me just 1 second. Um, okay, he should be fine. Sorry. Then we have customer recognition. So along with this, um, having a brand will make you and your product more recognizable, making it more likely for customers to remember your product or your service and to come back a second or third time. And then we have trust and credibility. So, to put it simply, having a well established brand can instill a sense of trustworthiness and make you feel more reliable to your customer. It makes your business seem more put together and established to your customers as well. And then we have marketing efficiency. So once you have a solid idea of your brand, it will act as a guideline and a starting point when you create new marketing materials. Consider it kind of a template. So once you have colors and fonts chosen, it's a lot easier to create these materials without spending too much time thinking about them. So now that we have a better idea of what a brand is and why it's important, I want to move into taking the first step of getting your brand started. I think a good starting point is creating your logo, since it will require you to think about and establish several of the branding elements that we've already discussed. So consider it taking kind of killing two birds with one stone. So when you're making your logo, there are a few general steps you can take. One is understanding your brand. So having a general idea of what you want your logo to convey about your brand. How do you want your logo to represent your brand story, your values, and how will it add to your visual identity? Then we have researching inspiration. So taking a look at other businesses and seeing what's already been done so that you can create something new. What elements of their branding do you enjoy versus what are some things you want to bring to the table? And also, what aesthetic will you go for? I recommend using Pinterest around this time to kind of make a vision board, if you would say, just to kind of get those creative juices flowing. So then third is choosing your logo style. There are different styles of logos, and I'll briefly go over them in a moment, and just kind of deciding which one works best for you, and if you want to combine different elements of them as well. And then the fourth is pretty self-explanatory. It's selecting color and fonts. The fifth is sketching your ideas. So this can be done physically with pen and paper, or it could be done virtually, looking at different templates provided by different sites and playing around with the different elements that these sites allow you to customize. And then lastly, we have designing your logo digitally. This is the last step, and you're going to take all these elements that you've worked on so far to design your digital logo. So then next, as I mentioned, there are a few different types of logo styles. I've included a quick list of the ones we see most often. Most of these are a mix of symbols and text. If you're watching this after the live session, now would be a good time to pause and look up examples of each of these to have a better idea of what style you'd like. And then for now, I'll just briefly list each one. We have the combination mark, the word mark, the pictorial mark, the minimalist logo, and then the emblem logo. And then lastly, as a quick note, there are many other styles of logos as well, and you're always free to combine these however you'd like. The important thing is that you make something special for you and your business. And then now I want to get into the resources that are available to you to help you create your logo. So there are several resources online that can help you. Some are better for brainstorming, while others can help you create a final and more polished product. So a few sites that I recommend starting off with are Looka and Shopify. Looka is a logo maker that can help you generate different designs. It's a great site to use and get fast results from in the early stages of your logo design. Whereas Shopify provides several tools for small businesses, and one of them is a logo tool that helps you create a design based on a few questions that you answer about your preferences in terms of aesthetics, colors, and symbols and things like that. So those are sites that I recommend for the beginning stages of your logo design. You can consider the designs you make there as a part of the sketching process, since the customization on those sites is a little bit limited, but I feel like by the end of that, you'll have a really good idea of what elements you do want to include in your final design. So, sorry, after you've played around with a few designs on the other websites, you'll probably have a general idea of what you want your final logo to look like. Once you're at this stage, I highly recommend switching over to Canva. This is a free resource you can use to create a final design of your logo. The customization offered on this website is much less restricted compared to other sites, and it offers a lot more too. Just to list a few things, they offer templates for your logo, but for also different marketing materials such as business cards, flyers, and you can even create things like mouse pads and notebooks on there if you're interested in something like that. And then along with that, they do offer printing services within their own, like with all in one, which is really nice. With just a few clicks, you can create proofs of what your design will look like on business cards or really on any marketing material you create, which is really nice because on other websites that offer printing services, you usually won't get a proof until you've submitted an order. So this is really nice. Um, and then the last resource I want to recommend to you is our Canvas page. We have created a small business development module on our Canvas. We've provided worksheets, videos, and helpful articles for each step that you'll go through in the beginning of creating your small business. So to be specific to today's topic, though, I highly recommend looking into the brand strategy planning worksheet that we have within the module. It is a really great way to kind of get started on your business, or I'm sorry, your branding. It breaks down the different elements that I've mentioned before. And by the end of that worksheet, you really have a clear, concise idea of what you want your brand to look like and what direction it's going in. So now I do want to provide a quick demonstration of Canva and how to use it, just so you guys have a reference, when you start to look into it. So I'll be switching my screen really quickly. Give me just a second. Um, I did, for this presentation, I did create oh, sorry. I did create, can you guys see Canva? Can you guys tell me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So I did create a little fake small business just to kind of have something to go through. So for right now, this is what it'll look like when you open up Canva after you've created an account. I have the free version, which is nice since that's what you guys will all be starting off with. It'll look a little different for you because you guys haven't used it as much as I have, which I clearly use it a lot. So to start off, you start here. I go to templates, and you can see here they have a bunch of different categories for you to get started with. They have presentations, like the one you saw on screen. They have business cards, Instagram posts, which is really interesting, flyers, and then here we'll get started with logos. Sorry, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. So here you'll see a bunch of different like logos that are preset. The one thing I do want to mention is when you see, let me see, when you see things like this that'll say Pro on it, that will require you to have the Pro membership with Canva. And although there are some perks to having it, I think you can get a lot done with just the free membership, which is really nice. I'm going to pick a random, logo here. Let's say this one. This one is free. You'll see that it doesn't say anything here about payment or anything like that. You would go to customize this template. And then the good thing about this is that you can start off really with just something like this. And then by the end, it's completely different. That tends to be what happens with me when I work on here. I'll start off with a template and then it'll be completely different by the end of it. Sometimes the hardest part is staring at a blank screen and having no direction of where to go. So that's why templates are really useful. So for the sake of this, let's say that I don't really like this flower or the colors aren't really my thing. The second you click on any item on this page, a bar will open up here and you'll be able to edit the image, change the colors if that's possible. And then there are a bunch of other different ways you can edit as well. So for the sake of this, let's say I'm not really into that. I don't like flowers, but the business I created for this demonstration is called Bun Bun Beauty. It's a bunny inspired beauty, I guess you would say, salon. So I would like to incorporate for mine something that involves a bunny. So once you go here, you'll see that there are the options for graphics, photos, videos. More likely than not, you're going to go to graphics. And then there are a bunch of different options that you can look through to see what you would like to include. I really like using things that are very that aren't too specific in terms of design. So like a character like this is very specific, for example. But using something like this, if you decide later on that you do want to create your own, like very personal design, you can always use it as a reference, and it's not too hard to customize something that's just a few lines, for example, or very minimalist. So I'm going to use these bunny ears. I think they're cute. And I want my colors to be, let's see. I want them to be like blue, purple. That's kind of my vibe that I'm going for. What's really nice is that you can create a color palette for your brand on Canva. So once you have colors that you really like, that you're like, that's what I want in my brand, you can have them here in this section, and then they'll always be there for any presentation or any design you're working on, which is really nice. So then, let's see. You can name them if you'd like, or anything like that. I'm gonna go just this color. I'll stick with the black, and then the pink, I kind of want to change. So I'll do purple. And so there's a lot of customization available to you. The font you can change the same way. Once you click it, you would go here. You could go to, let's see, if you want to do something like this, and then to change it, you would just type in something, your name, and then this is set to have an arch on it. So you would go to effects to see what that looks like. It's really just about playing around with the different settings they have and figuring out what you want, um, your logo to look like. That's why I recommend looking into the other ones beforehand, because when you come here to a website that's a little bit more advanced, you have an idea of what you're looking for already. So once you're done with this, if you wanted to look at it on a business card, for example, you would click up here with Print Canva. They list a bunch of different resources, not resources, but things that you can print with them. Notebooks, invitations, wall calendars, infographics. Depending on your business, you'll print out different things. I'm looking for business cards. Give me just a second. I don't know. Let me see it. Oh, here it is. So rounded business cards, that's kind of the look I like. It will open up separately in a different template specific to business cards. But here, what's really great about Canva, like I said, is they provide proofs. So if this is my final design, I could look here and see what it will look like as a business card, which is really nice. And then you'll be able to see, you can work on the front of the business card and also the back of the business card as well. Your logo will see, as you can see, it stays the same. You can customize it here as well, though. And let's say last minute changes you want to make, you can always customize here as well. And then for their printing, they tell you the different kinds of paper you can print on, the different finishes. And this is stuff you're going to look at once your logo is already complete. But I do like to mention it just so you guys are aware that Canva is a resource that has really two tools in one, which is really nice. But yeah, that's really what it would look like. And on my branding, for people that are watching this afterwards, I've included some examples of what this will look like. Once you already have your proofs and things like that, this is a mock-up I did before this, prior to this. There are a bunch of different resources you can use, like I said. And yeah, so that's really all I wanted to go over for today. I'd like to open up the room now for any questions that you guys may have at all, or anything like that.
Hi, this is Maria over at
Okay.
GCC. Hi, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to learn from you. I, as an aspiring business owner, really feel like I'm finally beginning to understand the importance of having strong branding around your business. And yeah, I love your point about it's not just, you know, the font, but also how it speaks to your audience. And
Mhm.
I was wondering if you can speak more on that because I think as business owners, we have
Oh, where the fuck am I going?
like maybe a specific idea or an idea, right? But we're not specific enough.
Yes,
How do you drill down on like
I thought this bus was going the
message,
other way.
the exact
Thank
message
you.
that sounds like someone's mic is on. Um, but my question was, how do you drill down into the specifics of who your target audience is? Because that's really who you're trying to attract, right?
Mhm.
Um, how do you accomplish that?
Yeah, so I think that's one of one of the biggest questions people have in the beginning of their, um, you know, as they're going through considering starting a small business. For me, for example, when I sat down, I knew I knew I wanted to do something, right? I wanted to start a stationery business. That was something I wanted to do for a long time. And I had to think about, well, who is my audience? And it's hard to, like you said, to decipher that and really pin that down. And I think as you go through the motions of not only making your logo and making your brand, you start to realize that you're really looking for people that are going to enjoy whatever you're offering as much as you do. So, um, figuring out your set demographic is a little hard, but I think just going through the motions of creating your brand and realizing what would you appreciate from a business like yours, right? Is what really helps you settle on that. And sometimes you're surprised in the end by who actually ends up supporting you. So it's something that changes as your not only as your business grows, but as your business develops personally within you as well. I don't know if that makes sense. I hope that answers your question a little bit. Um, yeah. So are there any other questions you had at all?
Thank you for that. I couldn't unmute myself. Sorry.
No, it's
Um,
okay. No worries.
would it be possible for us to meet more one-on-one with you to just kind of do like a deeper dive into our own specific situation?
Yeah, of course. You guys are always free to meet with me about any of the questions you have regarding branding, or if you want to go over any of the resources we provide on our Canvas. For example, I think going back to your question, a really good resource to look at is the branding strategy planning worksheet that we have in our Canvas. It goes into detail about the different elements, one of them being your target audience, trying how do you figure that out? Like, what does it look like for you now versus what it might look like for you 2 years into starting your business, for example? I would love for you guys to meet with me about that, for example, just to go over, how that worksheet has helped you, what are some things that you're taking away from it, and things like that. So, yeah, of course, you're always free to meet with me.
Thank you so much. And excuse my ignorance, but I was not aware of this, of access to Canva. So thanks so much
No,
for bringing
yeah,
it up.
yeah, no worries. I actually didn't know too much about Canva before I started this position. So even I've learned a lot in the past year about how to use it. And I think that should speak to how user friendly it is as well. I've had to learn it. Obviously, I'm not an expert, but I've become very familiar with it, and I'm sure my coworkers and my peers within HSI Excellence can tell you how often I'm in there working on things now. So yeah, it's, if you ever have questions about using Canva, or if you'd like to share any, your logo that you're working on in there or any materials, you can always meet with me and I'd be more than happy to either guide you through how to edit something or, anything like that. I'm always here.
Yeah, Maria, we have another question in the chat, and I think it
Mhm.
also reflects a little bit of, let's see, Juliana's question about,
Sorry, I can't see
um,
it. My screen is a
no,
little
I'll
different.
read it to you. So
Okay.
should we be worried about copyright? Just a thought. I don't know if that's something that was discussed, so she may have missed it. And then the second one was, what about logo closely resembling an existing brand logo or branding?
Yeah, of course. So trademarking is something that is super important. Um, so on websites like the ones I've recommended, like Looka and the Shopify tool, you do have to pay for sole propriety, which means that you're the sole owner of that. Like if somebody were to go on that website and create the same like logo exactly to the point, they would not be able to use it. Whereas you can download what is it? The the logo for free and use it you know, in terms of like copyright and things like that. They're provided free of like, without any worry about copyright, but it's not guaranteed that you will be the sole owner of that logo, if that makes sense. So not paying, you can have the logo, you can use it, but you're not guaranteed that you're the only one that can use that logo. So then with something like Canva, for example, the personalization and the customization makes it so that it's going to be really, really hard for someone to use it. And once you have a design like that from Canva, you can always, like I mentioned earlier, the reason I use general um, kind of elements and graphics is sorry about my dog. Sorry about my dog. Sorry, so that you can use general and he's still going. So you can use general elements. Oh my gosh. Sorry. You can use
We can't,
general elements.
we can't hear her, Maria,
Yeah,
so
I was
you're
gonna
good.
say that.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that was good.
Okay. I thought you guys could hear him. Okay. So you can use general elements so that way later on when you do kind of have a final design, you can move on to making your own design and having a general idea. I hope that answers your question. Um, so yeah, don't worry too much about uh, trademarking until you're in the final stages of your logo design and your business design too. There are a lot of legal things that happen after that you can work through.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Maria, for this great presentation. I definitely think it'll be very useful to those that were here today and then those that have the opportunity to watch it later on as a recording. One of the other stat that we wanted to share was we recently went to it's called Datos, like the Arizona Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. They put on this great event just to kind of talk about statistics going on within the state of Arizona, and then and cover different areas. So one of the statistics that they shared was that Hispanic populations, we represent billions in spending. So in 2015, we were about 19.4 billion, and then in 2020 we moved towards 25, and then recently it's projected for 2025 that we would be at 38 billion of that. So definitely there's a really high market within, and this is specific for Phoenix. They also had it for the Tucson area, but this was specific for the Phoenix area. And so definitely there's spending power out there, and there's a lot of customers that are waiting for your designs or for your opportunities. So great things to take into consideration. Other than that, I think we can pause the recording here.